Hi, welcome back to the speaking booth. This is another episode. This is kind of different, basically. Something we're all familiar with, the social media influence on people. Today I have with me Taimoor.
Hi, Hassan.
And we will be discussing the detriments and basically the positivities of social media influence. Because let's be honest, there are more detriments than positivities, aren't there? For social media?
There are. I would just like to correct you on that. It's not familiarization with social media. It's an addiction.
Absolutely.
And that addiction leads to like both positives and negatives.
Yeah.
So, since the age bracket of students which I deal with, they are so much into it that they cannot actually categorize what's good for them, what's bad for them.
Yeah.
They lose their thinking abilities when it comes to something which is like something which strikes them. For example, I was just checking with some statistics recently. I found out that 95 million photographs are uploaded on Instagram daily. And the inspiration taken by students is not from the lifelong struggle of those celebrities, but what they're wearing, where they're roaming, what they have, their money. So the inspirations taken by students these days are like, it's not the struggle, it's what they have at the moment. So yes, I believe that it is something which should be discussed.
मुझे genuinely ये लगता है कि the age bracket that you deal with, which is between I assume 14 to 19,
Yeah.
right? Majority of people in that bracket, girls and boys alike, they don't have the mental capability to differ between what you can and cannot put on social media, what you can and cannot intake from social media,
Yeah.
and basically use that information in your life, for instance. Now, I follow a number of celebrities on Instagram. Not for a second do I let anything that they post or anything that they write dictate anything that I do with my life. Any allegation, any fact that they're following, it shouldn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, they are a different individual. I'm a different individual.
Yep.
Me perpetrating my own life that way will make no difference to anyone.
It's not their fault at large. When they were young, when they couldn't speak, they were handed over with gadgets to have visuals, poems, and other visuals just to keep them occupied. And then over these past decade, they've been so addicted to it, they don't actually realize that what are they doing with it.
Exactly.
Secondly, the most important aspect of that is parents, they are not tech savvy.
Yeah.
And they don't want to admit the fact that, okay, we don't know it. For example, if a student is using a gadget, and if the parent is unfamiliar with the technicalities of that, they won't admit it to their child. Okay, we don't know how to do it. They're like, what are you up to? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So when they are not tech savvy, they are not competent enough to monitor what the child is doing. They can't stop it from happening. And their inspiration of giving that gadget to their children is, oh, भाई के बेटे के पास भी है, चाचा के बेटे के पास भी है, इसके बेटे के पास भी है, सबके पास है, तुम्हारे पास भी होना चाहिए. So if primarily it's the moral duty of the parents that they should get familiar, they should get some knowledge or some understanding of how to actually monitor what their kids are doing.
Yeah.
So that is leading them to have this issue. Secondly, when students or the young adolescents, when they're spending more time with their gadget, they are parting away from their families. How often do you understand, or do you actually listen to the fact that parents, they share or they actually make it a discussion of what's happening on social media? Family conferences, family meetings, they're not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Because the interesting topic for parents are far more apart from what interests the young child.
Yeah.
So there are no interactions, there's no monitoring, So how would they learn that what to post, what not to post?
There's a basic isolation that they seem to have, and it's continuous, and it's very, very common, to the point where I feel like that alienation from your family leads you down a path of not knowing what the hell you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're just lost. And then these kids, they trust their own instinct, and they feel like whatever we post, we're justified to do it, and it doesn't matter what we post. Like, हमारी मर्जी है, और हम कुछ post करेंगे, हम उसको, we can take it down very easily as well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I know people who have posted so many problematic things before without having any knowledge of the situation or any knowledge of the particular topic. People have posted about depression, and I found it so insulting because this one person I knew, they posted this small sentence on Facebook, and it just said, people with depression need to just get over it, you're just lazy. I was attacked. I felt like, मतलब क्या backing क्या है तुम्हारी? तुम्हें कुछ पता है इसके बारे में? You're on social media, you have a phone. क्या मतलब है तुम्हारा?
Actually, this social media information or whatever it is there on it, it is influenced by the number of people who are actually viewing it or posting it. Silent wars are being won over social media now.
Yeah.
Elections are being won over social media now. Celebrities are decided upon social medias. Those who are like very talented, very skilled, but since they are not on that platform, they're ignored.
Yeah.
So the point is, number one, what is the authenticity of the information that is there? If I'm being followed by a lot of people, I have a very huge student base. Whatever I'll post on social media, my students are going to share it.
Yeah.
Assuming the fact, it is posted by sir, so he must be right. So based on that, allegations, comments, and actually personal attributions, and a lot of things which should be actually investigated before being public.
Yeah.
The things are out there.
I think people's opinions take precedence over fact now.
Yeah, exactly. Because if something is being followed by people who have a good following, so that leads to that word is out there in the market.
Yeah.
So
it has its own backing then. Because nobody's going to want to try and rectify it because that takes too much work. Trying to convince an entire fan base, listen, this is the actuality, but you're not listening. Nobody wants to be told that they're wrong. The sad thing is that leads down to a very, very dark path of cyberbullying.
It does. Cyberbullying. In fact, I would want to discuss the sexting thing over here.
Yeah.
It's like they don't realize that if they are sending their inappropriate pictures to someone who is still a stranger.
Yeah.
And emotional affiliations are there. But what could be the effects of that? A lot of children these days, they face such an issue. They get into depression because of that. They have sleep deprivations. They have pure addictions to what's coming out, what's not coming in. To be very honest, I came across some students who never knew the schooling system, but they knew the school through some students because those students were pretty influential. Their videos were viral on the internet.
Yeah.
So, the point of recognition is not the positive attributes. So, and as you know, the negativity floats much faster than the
positivity. Yeah, you're right.
So, people are using it. They don't know, in fact, a lot of people don't know about the privacy controls.
Yeah.
Lot of people that I know who are teachers, they have a very influential backing on the social media. What they are posting, irrespective of what the consequences are, and they are actually being, I don't know, but the point is this social media platform, the reason it was embedded into our generations throughout the globe was to create some positivity, was to kind of float the information. It was to actually make things accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
but the negativity is prevailing over all the positive aspects.
Absolutely.
So that's the most concerning thing at the moment.
I think that it's by the end, when people realize that they make their own mistakes, they don't want to blame themselves and they don't want to rectify the situation.
Yeah.
They want to blame the creators. By the end of the day, when I used to use Facebook at some point in time, I stopped using Facebook in 2015. I was glued to it. I was definitely addicted to it. The amount of likes I needed, the amount of posts I made, what type of posts I made, the type of aesthetic I had to my page. That was so important to me. And my mother could see that.
You know what's that called? That's called Facebook depression. When you want to be recognized for your posts and all. Now that Facebook depression is converting itself into an Instagram depression.
Yeah.
A lot of students who are smart, they realize that, oh, we don't have that much privacy on Facebook. They are moving towards Instagram. But now, whenever they post anything, they're like, oh, how many likes? How many posts? How many views? And is it viral now? How many people know about it? So that is a depression. And that kills a lot of your quality time. You're constantly on your phone and like, oh, let me check how many likes. Okay. Any comment on that? Should I reply? Should I not reply? And people are having wars over your comments feed because everyone, they don't realize, see, whatever you're posting on a social media platform, that's your opinion. Your opinion might vary from mine. So fighting over an opinion and making it a fact, there's a very thin borderline between it.
Yeah.
So that realization needs to come either from schools, either from family. Someone needs to take a stand and make them realize that, okay, you need to distinguish between opinion and facts, which is not there.
True. I remember by the time my Facebook usage was becoming very unhealthy, my mom used to blame me. But then she blamed the creator.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of parents would do. They blame the creators. She said, "Ye Mark Zuckerberg wale," and a lot of parents, I've heard them.
You know, Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg. For a lot of people, it's Mark Zuckerberg, because they can't pronounce Zuckerberg properly. So, all right, please.
Ultimately, I thought about it and I was like, listen, this is a very unjust thing to do. You're blaming a creator. They put out this thing for us to use. Now, the way we use it is not on them. They gave it to us.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with, do you know Julian Assange? The creator of WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
He created WikiLeaks and this huge controversy ran over him and Al-Qaeda used it against him. Now, Al-Qaeda used WikiLeaks in a certain sense. But why was Assange prosecuted? Why was there a case against him? He, before the documents were released, had called the US embassy and said, listen, you are in danger of having your information leaked. I would like you to recheck. I would like you to build up your firewalls and do something about it. And they didn't do anything. And that poor man has now been arrested after 9 years, I think. And he stayed 9 years in the Ecuadorian embassy out of fear. I feel like people need to just stand up and take responsibility for what they're doing. Because nobody on earth would ever stand up and say, okay, hey, I was wrong. That's wrong on my part. I should do better as a human. Nobody looks for self-improvement. As long as they're embedded into social media, their image matters more than their rectification of themselves.
Yeah.
Coming to
But adding on to that is basically, when for my own personal convenience, if I'll hand over a gadget to my child unsupervised, and I don't actually talk about it, I don't actually monitor what's going on. So with this parting away, what do you expect? At an age of 13 and 14, that children has its own fantasy world, that is that gadget or the social media platform, which is an intangible world that he has created. That is his social activity against his social activities with his parents, with his family. Now, this socializing fact, when he parts that away, which is more interesting? Talking to parents or knowing what's happening on that social platform.
Yeah.
So a 14-year-old, 15-year-old child, what actually like pulls him towards himself? That social media. That's why, and actually what I firmly believe, it's a primary responsibility of parents as well as the schooling system to tell them about, like, okay, these are the pros and cons of such a thing. You can use it in positive way and this in a negative aspect. So primary schools, they do play a very important part in that.
They do. I feel like the moralistic teaching should be embedded into a child before they're handed all of this, because as long as you have morals, as long as you have principles, I'm not saying you should have really stern morals or really stern principles, but at least a basic humanistic moral. You can function on that, and you can lead your life by that, and that's good enough. But that's lacking everywhere. What I hate about almost every institution is that they think talking about social media is just as easy as saying don't use Facebook.
Yeah,
It's not good for you. That's not it. It is human nature for us to do something that we're not told to do. Curiosity is an embedded feature within us, and we will follow it to every extent.
see, I'm not the kind of person who's against the usage of that. But for example, let me just portray an example. When I was a kid, I was told A for apple. Apple is red.
Yeah.
There weren't any visuals. But now that young boy or girl, when he saw an apple on a gadget, oh, it's red color. It has a red color. It can be green. It is hanging on a tree. It can fall. So the uses and benefits of it. So the point is, my learning curve was far low at that particular age than this child, because that child is actually learning pretty faster, at a pretty faster rate. However, the problem is, you're right, that school doesn't talk about like the benefits of it. They're like, don't use Facebook, you shouldn't be on the internet, YouTube's. Who are the there are hundreds and thousands of YouTube channels which caters these young children, because they have seen that, okay, young children, they get attracted to social media, visuals, sounds, colors. Based on that, a lot of younger generation is addicted to that. And the concept that is driven between the parents in this era is they learn faster. I totally agree to that. But you as a parent, you need to understand that, okay, you need to keep a check on it.
Yeah.
And in order to keep a check, you should know how it is done. So usage is beneficial.
Yeah.
But then comes a stage when there's a darker side to this as well.
Abusing it, basically.
Misusing it, abusing it, misusing it. And these days, there's a concept between the student, amongst the student, that, okay, we'll do good academically. Our parents are going to be like, oh, he has all A's in all the subjects.
Yeah.
With that academic shadow over their eyes, they're doing anything they want over the social media platform.
Yeah.
Because the parents are like, पर तो अच्छा रहा है ना, रिजल्ट अच्छा आ रहा है, वेरी गुड बेटा. कहाँ जाना है? आज कैफे जाना है दोस्तों के साथ. कैफे पे कर क्या रहा है वो? एक छोटा बच्चा, and these commercial activities, we don't have this age bracket for smoking. You can easily get cigarettes anywhere. You can easily get shishas anywhere. Even today, I believe that when you talk to them about like drugs, they'll come up with benefits of that.
They'll be intrigued by that. That's a conversation that they take part in.
There are some benefits to it as well.
Yeah.
I was like, is that even a conversation you should be doing? So that's a confidence given to them by the social media platform. But they need this understanding of good and bad. That has to come. It has to come.
It does. I feel like thing is that when these students who are capable of pulling the curtain over their parents' eyes with the grades, they get away with a lot of stuff that they do on social media.
They do.
Which the parents they couldn't care less about what their child does on social media. They think that, चलो grades अच्छे आ रहे हैं, तो ये बंदा जो कुछ भी करे, he's smart enough to know that that's right. I find that to be so incorrect, because I know smart people, I know book smart people, but I also know book smart people who have absolutely no idea about the world around them. They have no concept of sympathy or empathy or what an opinion is or what a fact is. Basically, I just think that through my own understanding, I have read up on a lot of people who did do horrible things, but presented themselves as such normal people. But through this dark area of social media, they turned to do horrible things.
Yeah.
Like, I knew people who were so good at studying and so good at everything, and by the time they got to AS or A levels, they were addicted to drugs, and their monetary consumption was a lot. They would be dealing because they think it's cool. They would be smoking up because they thought it was cool. They would be doing a lot of stuff that the wool has been pulled over their own eyes. The negative connotations of this don't exist because the positive outweighs it, just because I see it that way.
You know, I was just looking over some statistics. I discussed those statistics with the kids. It's like, until a couple of years ago, Pakistan holds the record for about good 8-9 years. Do you know what that is?
What?
The most viewership on an adult website is from Pakistanis. Now it goes back to India. For 7-8 years, we were leading in that. Plus, what catches or what attracts this social media platform to students? Like, I was checking these statistics a couple of days ago. 70 to 80% pictures on the internet are actually are of naked women. Plus, our adult industry, they make $3,000 a second. $3,000 a second times 60, that's a minute, times 60, that's an hour, times 60, that's a day, times 365, that's a year. So, the thing is, what are the driving forces of actually, what is the attraction? Like, I'm not saying that 100% is bad. I'm saying majority is bad. When I'm saying majority is bad, that means even these days, some parents are concerned that, okay, our child should not be viewing any such content over the social media. And they don't know what an incognito mode is. They don't know what a proxy is. They don't know how to stop them. Even schools, some schools, as a part of their curriculum, they're like, okay, let's bring in technology. Let's give them gadgets. Fine. But do you have an expertise to view or monitor what is being done? Do you have the expertise to actually understand the level of harassment that has increased? For example, someone can take a picture of someone in a very uncompromising mode and can harass that person for a longer period of time. That, okay, having a gadget in school, there can be a huge misuse of that. And no one is addressing it, because I believe that my school is superior when you are bringing in gadgets, because I'm making that learning through that electronic devices. Rather than failing to understand the consequences of that in that young mind. And secondly, you know, one of the most influential TV episodes viewed by these children were like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And this Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
So that means a lot of things that are out there are negative, which is attracting these young students, young people. So they are getting attracted to negativity rather than positivity. So the debate is there any positivity? Is it?
I think it's the way media has been displayed. Media has just been displayed by, the movies that came out years ago, like the remember Goodfellas
Yeah.
and The Godfather and all this, the mafia culture. By anyone's standards, those movies were absolute pieces of art. So, like, the idea is that when young people started to consume that, they ultimately thought, yaar, this mafia culture thoda cool hai. Mere ko pasand aa raha hai.
Okay, you tell me one thing.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street was better, or Pursuit of Happiness was better? Which one?
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
Wolf
You
of
need
Wall
to be
Street.
honest.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Why?
Personally, I think it was a good movie just because the truth behind it. Because uska naam kya tha? Kind of forgetting his name.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, the guy he played. What's his name?
Okay, whoever.
That he found a way to commit stock fraud, making millions and millions and billions. Ultimately getting caught, yeah, obviously.
But that's your opinion of
That's my opinion. Somebody else's opinion would be different.
And what would that be? Why
Well,
would
the amount of coke they snorted, the amount of hookers that they had, the amount of nudity.
The point is, earn money, legal way or illegal way, and have all of these liberties.
Yeah.
So that is what is being embedded into these young minds these days. So where are we going?
We're on a downward spiral to nowhere. I find the internet to be funny but really threatening at the same time, because the internet allows anyone to be anonymous and hence they're a threat.
Yeah, because no one has the ability to track down who that person actually
Anonymity is the one factor that plays a huge role in you being a threat to someone.
Yeah.
If you don't know who they are and they have the tiniest bit of information, be it public or private information, they can ruin your life.
See, the thing is, it happened in our industry a couple of months ago, that #MeToo campaign. Are you familiar with that?
No, I don't.
It did, and it was very famous. A lot of teachers were blamed for a lot of things that actually never happened. And the students, they had this in mind that, okay, you were the culprit. Now, how can that teacher even step into a classroom when he has this in mind? Okay, I'm being blamed for it. I'm being blamed for anything that I never committed. The point is, they use this medium. These students, they're pretty smart. They use these mediums to, like, they can actually build someone. They can
build someone up. They can break them down.
It's
very easy.
So they know the power of it.
Yeah.
And secondly, the one of the most debatable thing that went around was this Aurat March.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of pictures that were posted on the social media were all the ones which reflected negatively upon the aspect of that. The positives were being ignored. Why? Because उसमें कोई मसाला spice नहीं था. ठीक है? Masala and spice are the most selling proposition in this country, unfortunately. So the point is, memes.
Yeah.
And actually, the best part is, teachers and the student community discussing those memes in classroom, that's even pathetic.
Yeah. All right. So we were talking about Aurat March,
Yep.
where we left off. So yeah, I wanted to add to that. People who had a different opinion about Aurat March took everything that they could in a compiled plethora fashion. Jitni bhi cheezein jo negative thi towards Aurat March, they used against it.
Yep.
And they were like, listen, it's not fair. What about Mard March? Not all men are like this. I hate hearing that.
And sorry, which medium did they use to kind of
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
So social media.
Yeah, basically social media. It stands to be the one area where everyone can take a part in and exploit. And it's ridiculous the amount of things that they can exploit out of people and out of movements as well.
You know how many Facebook users are there?
1/3 of the world's population, right?
Yeah. More than that. And still growing. And people who thinks they are sane enough, they are moving to Instagram, owned by the same company. Why? They want privacy.
Yeah.
Like, we want privacy with our pictures. Okay. Why are you posting it then? Now, this culture of like selfie. Now that selfie is cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. What's coming up next is, I don't know. How many people have lost their lives in this world while taking a selfie and falling from an edge of a mountain cliff? Or for TikTok, I recently saw a video, someone like gets grinded up in a roller because he was trying to step up on a moving tractor. So, that element of recognition they want, like my picture, my post, my video to run over that social media platform so that I get recognition.
Yeah.
This celebrity kind of feeling is basically ruining the entire thing up. And the followers, they want to do the same.
Yeah.
Like if I'm following a very famous YouTuber, I would want to have the same bike that he has.
Yeah.
I would want to travel to the same place that he goes.
Yeah.
The point is,
It becomes a mental compulsion at a certain point.
yeah.
Like,
Secondly, the element of benchmarking. Who are you benchmarking in your life? Okay, I'm not saying those people who are celebrities, they haven't had a struggle.
yeah.
Benchmark their struggle, not what they are right
Not
now.
their fame, not their fame.
Not their fame. They have gained it with a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
And plus, this medium is now being used by schools. They're like, whatever they want to portray, they're selling themselves over this medium. If, for instance, if there wouldn't be Facebook in this country, how many schools would be there?
Close to none. There would be no platform for recognition.
Yeah.
Hence, they would just be known to the area that they would be confined to.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Yeah.
For a very long time in the medieval times, that's how it went. Like if a village had something good about them, if there was a carnival, people from 200 kilometers away wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
People from like a village over or something would show up just because they were known to that area. Now, for one festival, people fly over to Coachella just because it's cool.
Yeah. They do. No, I believe that if the schools and these institutions, they're promoting what they're actually doing, it's fine. But what actually it is and the way it is promoted are way far from each other.
Yeah.
And there's no one to check the authenticity of that. Like, I did anything that I feel is very helpful, fine. The way I promoted it, it appeared to be like, oh wow, what an event would it be? But the participants would be like, it was boring.
Yeah.
The way it was portrayed, the entire 12-hour event was portrayed was actually presented within like 1.5 minutes. And summing that up with music and effects and all, they made it lucrative. The thing is, this element of window dressing, you have that element within the social media platforms.
Authenticity and the portrayal of things, the authenticity pales in comparison to what's being portrayed. I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen people. If you open up Instagram right now, when you're going through your stories, you'll find this sponsored video. Like the sponsored video is just this guy going, don't swipe up and follow my page for this, that, and the other. Or this guy going like, hi, I'm on a trip to Bali. All I want you to do is join me, and you don't have to pay for anything and all this stuff. It's like Tinder, basically. You're trying to sell yourself, and the gratification you're getting, that recognition, is a form of venery to them. Like it's so overpowering that they don't have control over it at all.
You're talking about Tinder?
Yeah.
These social media dating websites, you know how much amount of revenue do they generate each year? Billions.
Tinder in billions?
Not specifically Tinder, but these social dating websites altogether, they generate in billions. Because, the point is, again, I want to add this, that I'm not against social media. I would want, what I would expect is basically there should be a protocol, there should be an SOP designed for these young adults to how can they make it useful. What is good and what is bad for them. This is not being told to them. No one is there to kind of like make them realize what's going on. Where are they heading? Where are they going? So there should be an SOP, and that SOP could be regional. Could be based on like, you can segment that based on like, okay, where you live, your income level, your openness to the exposure you want to give to your child. A lot of parents won't want to talk to their parents about a lot of things. But a lot of them, on the other hand, they want to. Like, I tell you about a school which talks to young children about puberty and all that, and they're pretty open after taking a consent from parents. That's a very healthy act. However, it is something which is not happening in general. So my suggestion would be that all the schooling systems, they should have an SOP designed upon like the benefits and the drawbacks of social media, and they should be embedding that within their curriculum, so that to make this thing which could be so much productive, to make this at least productive in their daily life.
Because it's come to a point, okay, this is a part of our lives as much as oxygen is.
Yeah, it is.
We can't live without this. Most people can't. This is their livelihood. They thrive on this. So there's not much they can do without it. And once you, like, to be honest, if you take away a child's phone, they start acting like you just took away their drugs. They're hardcore drugs that they're addicted on. They start getting all itchy and like, Mom, Dad, please don't do this. I need my phone. I need to talk to my friends. The idea that like you're reliant on something so small, it has such a significant impact on your life. I couldn't give a rat's ass if my phone was taken away. I would take my car, I would go out and sit with people and socialize like a human should socialize, and not rely on the internet to pacify my needs continuously. And I think from a young age, children need to be taught that your body image, your financial status, anything that's personal to you, nobody else should have an opinion on. You need to be strong and steadfast enough to know that you as a person should rely on yourself, and the things that you need, the things that you need to help yourself, just pacify yourself or anything, you should be mature enough to ask for those things rather than go into the deep web and find these things. Because people have turned to some very horrible acts going into the deep web or the dark web or just the basic internet itself. I think basically what we really need to do is just educate people.
And who's going to do that?
That responsibility should fall onto the educationists.
I feel even prior to that, it falls onto the parents. They should get familiar with the gadgets, with the technology. They should sit and talk with their children about like the pros and benefits of it, the limitations of their usage. They should monitor, and just like the academic rewarding system, like, okay, if you get an A, I'll buy you this. So they can set parameters. They can set like some achievement levels for the social media usage, or the usage of an internet. Because
it's not like we can completely stop this.
You cannot.
We can't, because there needs to be a sort of, we need social media in an essence, but we don't need to abuse it.
So we need to distinguish
between right and wrong.
Between the right and wrong, and it's on the personal level. You can't have a generic policy for everyone. It has to be on a personal, individual level, because the exposure, everyone's exposure is different, and everyone's opinion is different. So it has to be narrowed down to each and every single individual. So this was very, very good. I hope you learned something, because if you didn't, then me sitting here was pointless, and Taimoor sitting here was pointless. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. All right.